Hi, my name is Kelly and welcome to my channel. Okay, so I made a couple of videos recently, one about my favorite classics of 2025, another about my favorite Christian fiction of 2025, and now I'm going to make a video of my favorite Christian nonfiction of 2025. You may hear a little bit of like a blowing noise. Might sound like a whining. I don't know what it's going to sound like on here, but there might be a noise that sounds a little annoying. It's because I have a heater going. About an hour ago, the heater in our house went out. And it is really cold outside, and so we have like 4 space heaters going right now just to try to stay warm. So that's fun. I think it's working. We'll see. We'll see how it goes tonight. But we have enough space heaters for every person's bedroom, which is great. So, my goodness. That was a bit of a bummer. But it's okay because we are well. We are warm as of right now. We still have shelter over our heads. So, and I have a backup plan if we can't stay warm in our house. I have a friend that offered for us to stay at her place, which was super kind of her. But I think we should be able to stay warm with these heaters. But that's why you hear one in the background. It's super exciting stuff. Anyhow, back to the Christian nonfiction books that I read in 2025 that I really loved. These are all the Christian nonfiction books that I read that I gave 4 to 5 stars. Do you hear that noise, that crinkling noise? My dog is playing with her toy. Okay, anyway, so these were all 4 to 5 stars, and also they're not in like my any kind of order as far as my most favorite. It's for the most part just going to be in the order that I read them throughout the year. So the first one I want to talk about is Don't Give the Enemy a Seat at Your Table by Louie Giglio. That was a great book. That's a great way to just talk about what are you lending your mind to? What thoughts are you allowing to affect your daily walk? Man, that was a great book. If you haven't read that, I definitely suggest it. It's really, really great. The next one that I read was Fearfully and Wonderfully Made by Philip Yancy and Dr. Paul Brand. I read this book with my kids towards the beginning of the years when we finished it. This is the book that we were using for health. So this man was a missionary and ended up working a lot with people with leprosy. Anyway, so he knows a lot about the body. He's a doctor, and he talks a lot about those moments with the leprosy, but he also talks about other things that he's come across as a doctor working out in the field, and he explains how the body works, what happens when it's not working the way it's supposed to, and he compares that to our Christian walk. It was so good. This was a great book. Me and the kids would just sit stunned after each chapter, just like, holy cow, like that's a whole new thing. Like, what do we do with that information? Really good. And the next one is Prayer by A.W. Tozer. It was compiled by W.L. Seaver. So, Olympia. She's making so much noise with it. Okay, what W.L. Seaver did was compiled different sermons or discussions or articles that A.W. Tozer had talking about prayer, and he just kind of compiled them together and then had a little note on each at the end of each chapter. It was really good. Really good. Calling us out for like, what are you doing not praying to the God of the universe? Like, he is right there. You have a direct line to him. Why are you not talking to him? Like, and he is our source of life. So what's going on here? It was so good. So good. Another book, you guys have heard me talk about this one so much, And the Word Came with Power by Joanne Shetler. Joanne was a missionary to the Philippines. Oh, I love the Philippines so much. I can't wait to go back there someday. Anyway, so she was a missionary to the Philippines, and she talked about some of the things that she experienced, some of the culture shock, getting over certain things, discovering what it is to get to know someone else's culture and how it's so different from yours, but also like the amazing miracles that she experienced, the way that God moved, the way that he revealed himself to the people. It was so beautiful. I cried so many times reading this book with my kids, like a lot of times. It was a great book. I will never stop saying that this was a great book. It is so good. So good. You should definitely read it. Another book I read was Of God by John Bevere. I read this with my book club on Fable. It was pretty good, guys, because there's a lot of times where people, when they think about God, they just kind of lost that awe for him. Yeah, he's the creator of the universe. Like, he created us. He created everything in amazing working order, and somehow we've gotten to a point where people are just a little calloused by it, and that's kind of wild to think. But it was a great book. Such a great book. The next one I read was The Case for Christ by Lee Strobel. This was a reread. I read this on my own before, and then I read it again with my kids during the school year last year, and amazing. Amazing. I will, I mean, I'm going to be saying that about all these books. I give them 4 and 5 stars for a reason. But this, the way he breaks down how he came to know who Christ was while he was trying to disprove Christ is wild. And I just, reading those facts that he came across, and being able to have that knowledge for myself makes it so much easier to answer any doubts that I've had in the past. And it's a beautiful book, and I love the conversations I was able to have with my kids about this, and they even both felt that this was something that definitely strengthened their faith. And I love that he wrote this book to help other people strengthen their faith. Amazing. All right, another book I read was The Evolution of a Creationist. So this is a man that he started out, well, he wasn't a Christian, and when he became a Christian, he continued believing in evolution, and he thought that Christians who believed in creation were just kidding themselves. And then someone challenged him and said, hey, I want you to actually like look at the evidence and see what you come up with. And so he started looking at the real evidence, and it's just so good. So good. Personally, I believe in the creation theory. And I feel like a lot of science points to creation. And I think that a great source for information about that is the Acts and Facts science magazine. I'll put the link down below. It's through the Institution of Creation Research. It's really great. It's really great. And so also reading his stuff was awesome. And it's pretty, like, he tries to put it in layman's terms, which is nice. It's, yeah, the layman's guide. So really anybody can read this, even if you don't have like a scientific mindset. Anybody could pick this up and probably understand what's being said. So this is a great book. I definitely suggest people read this, whether you're Christian or not. Like, if you are Christian, read it. Because then you kind of get some information as to how certain things in our world prove or seem to prove the creation theory, the book of Genesis. And if you're not a Christian, maybe read it, because then you can understand why Christians are willing to believe in creation. So give it a shot. All right. My phone's getting ready to die. I need to get through this. Okay, so Praying with Jane by Rachel Dodge. This was also a reread. I read it during Jane Austen July. I also read it the year before. I'm probably going to read it every year for Jane Austen July, because it is such a great book. It takes the prayers of Jane Austen herself and just kind of dives in on them and talks about them and talks about her life, or maybe the lives that she created in some of her works of fiction, and just kind of weaves those in with her prayers and God's word, and it's so good. I really enjoy this one. Another book I read was George Müller by Roger Steer. It was a biography on George Müller. Dude had some amazing faith. His life was crazy. The way that he was able to rely on God for all the little things. And oh my goodness. If you have not done any research on George Müller, please do. Please do. Because that guy, oh man, his faith is something that I aspire to. It was wild reading some of that. It was awesome. I loved it. Another book I read was The Ruthless Elimination of Hurry by John Mark Comer. This was a book I needed because a lot of times, well, one, I feel guilty for not having something going all the time. And this made me feel like I could let go of that guilt because we shouldn't have something going all the time. We're supposed to take time to rest. And it's also made me appreciate having like a full day where I really am truly resting from all things. Like, I'm not going full out like Sabbath rules or anything like from Old Testament, but I am taking a day where I do my best to just really relax and step away from chores, step away from errands, step away from just feeling like I have to get the things done. And so this was a great book. I really enjoyed it. My eye itches. Another book I read that I really enjoyed was Messianic Prophecy Revealed by Rabbi Kirt A. Schneider. Great book. This man, if I remember right, I've read a lot of books, but if I remember right, Rabbi Schneider was not a Christian. And then someone challenged him to read the New Testament. And in reading it and comparing it to the Old Testament, he saw, oh my goodness, Christ really is the Messiah that we were waiting for, that we've been waiting for, but he already came. And so it was great. This was a great book. He takes the Old Testament and compares it to the prophecies of the Old Testament, compares it to the New Testament and the things that were revealed about Christ. Really great book. Definitely enjoyed this. Give it a shot. Okay, another book is Singing Through Fire by Lara Silverman. So Lara Silverman is a beautiful, wonderful person is what she is. So she wrote this. It's a memoir about some of her struggles, both physically and spiritually and emotionally, mentally, all the things. So because she has this illness, she ended up struggling a lot mentally and emotionally, and like I said, even spiritually. And she talks about how like she never really turned away from God, but she still felt like she had the freedom to question him and be like, what's going on? What are you doing? Why are you allowing this to happen? And some of the answers that she got through actually asking God those questions, and how God confirmed that he's there for her and loves her time after time after time. And the relationship that she built with her husband, and just, it's a great book. It's thick, but it still felt like a quick read. So really great book. I would suggest reading this if you haven't yet. Another book I read was Hidden Christmas by Timothy Keller. So he just talks about a lot of the things that we kind of miss or have become calloused towards seeing when it comes to the birth of Christ and what that means and why it's so important, and all of the ways that it was revealed in Old Testament scripture, all the things. So it was a really great book. I'm glad I read it. And it was during Christmas, so it was the perfect read. And then the last book I want to mention is The Dangers of a Shallow Faith by A.W. Tozer. This book was sent to me by Chrissy. Thank you so much, Chrissy. I had been wanting to read this for a long time, and she sent it to me, and I was really excited about it. So he just talks about the dangers of when we have shallow faith, when we become stagnant in our faith, when we just don't really pursue a deeper relationship with God. And man, it was powerful. And like just the ways that us as Christians not pursuing a deeper relationship with God and like deeper faith, and how that affects the world around us. And I truly, this was written, I think, 70 something, I think. But so much of what he said applies to today and what we're seeing in the world today. Like, just insane. A lot of it kind of felt prophetic, if I'm not gonna lie. But anyway, great book, great book. If you've never read anything by A.W. Tozer, I highly suggest it. His work is so powerful. Man, God worked through him. Anyway, so that's all of my favorites. I know I talked a little fast and got through them a little fast, but like I said, my phone is dying, so I'd like to finish this before it completely dies. Tell me what your favorite Christian nonfiction book that you read in 2025 was. I would love some suggestions. Definitely, if it maybe you have an idea of something for me to read, but you read it before 2025, tell me anyway, because I would love to hear it. I would love to give it a shot. All right, I'm gonna let you guys go. I hope you all have an amazing day. God bless. Bye.